to another Blue Heart Craft Catch-Up. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Abby, I live in the northwest of the UK and I talk about all the crafty things I've been up to, usually knitting and crocheting throughout the week. Actually 2 weeks it is now that I do it over. But yeah, time to come on and do another video. Now, there's not a lot of progress on this week's. It's been a bit of a chaotic and crazy couple of weeks, but if you're having a little look behind me, you might be able to guess why. So we actually were going to get our living room repainted. We had some paneling put in at the end of August and we were just waiting to try and get in with the painter, and then a few days later we had a house fire. Thankfully it wasn't too bad. It was only the kitchen that was involved. It was only like the oven area and the counters around it and the dishwasher and washing machine that, you know, were affected. I know that does sound like a lot, but when you think of it, could have been the whole house, it could have been one of us injured. In the grand scheme of it all, it was fairly minute and pretty well contained, thankfully, because it was in the grill pan. So yeah, but I did have the firemen come out and we actually found out that some of our what are they called, smoke detectors had actually ran out batteries. And so yeah, good job that we did have a small fire like that to actually realise that some of the smoke detectors weren't working. The firemen, we've put new ones in while they were here, which was absolutely great. They are still definitely working because I set the one on the landing off this morning just by getting a shower. I know, at least they're working. I'm fine with that. I'm fine there having to waft in front. But yeah, so anyway, because part of the kitchen, you know, was damaged, we knew we were going to have to get the ceiling repainted because there was all smoke damage up there. So we were waiting to get hair back off the insurance so we can all book the painting all in one day. And the insurance did agree, yeah, you need the ceiling painted, and they actually also included that we have like an open kitchen, so they were like, your dining room wall's not that big, you can get that thrown in as well, which was absolutely fabulous. So yeah, we've had the kitchen, it's all been refitted, redone, and then once that's done, we've been able to get the painter in and they've come in. They finished up yesterday. The walls now are green, you can see a bit of green there, and then this dusty pink, I'd say it's like a sagey green there and like a dusky blush pink here, and then we have the pink out in the dining room and the pink in what we call the man cave. That is going to become the dining room. Yeah, so it just means everything's everywhere, you know, everything's had to get put up, away, stuff like that. There's dust everywhere. I thought we cleaned up pretty well after the kitchen, but apparently not, because there's dust everywhere. So yeah, and then we are moving around some of the downstairs, so it's going to be a bit of a big clear up. We're going to go through section by section, get rid of a load of things and stuff like that, and just, yeah, make it all work and get it fit and fine. But it has meant that my crafting has took a bit of a back turn. While the painters have been here, none of my crochet or my knitting has been downstairs. It has been getting kept upstairs, out the way, because I just have not wanted to risk it getting paint on or anything like that, particularly as some of the stuff is gifts. So yeah, when I've been downstairs, it's mostly been stuff like reading or just, you know, playing on my phone and stuff like that, and just messing with the dog. That's what it's been most of the day while the paint's been here. But yeah, now they're all gone, should be all done, and I should be able to just, you know, sit and craft all day if I wanted to when I'm not working. Yeah, it'd be lovely that, wouldn't it, sit there and craft all day. But yeah, so it's just been hectic. I'm just made up that we finally got rid of the grey. So there's actually a running joke in my family, is that my dad, when we were getting the room painted years ago, this was a good few years ago now, before the pandemic and all that, my dad decided to go from beige to grey. He saw grey, liked it, and then he just ran with the grey theme. The kitchen was already black and white, so you know, not too much. The dining room eventually turned grey. The man cave was close to getting turned grey until we painted it pink. Like everything that we get for the living room, so like, you know, the carpet had grey on it. We have like these storage boxes, they're grey. The couch is grey. We all used to joke that my dad liked one shade of grey and then he turned the house the whole 50 shades of grey. That was the running joke in the family. But so I'm glad to have like a bit of colour in, pink and green. It's nice. But yeah, so that's what I've been up to. 5 minutes of waffling. I thought even start showing what I've been crafting. But yeah, just want to explain the upheaval because it will make sense with some of the projects in a minute as well. Because I've got finished socks, but I've not actually got any sock blockers because they're they've been put away for while everything was here. Everything's just been shoved in cupboards, garages, lot. It's all been gone. So I mean, it's right at the bottom of my in a box at the bottom of my garden shed at the moment. So I don't want to have to rip everything out to get the sock blockers. So we're just gonna have to hold them up, do it old school. But yeah, here are my witchy socks, as I'm calling them. So what I actually did for these were for the Spooky Feet Mail that was running throughout September and October by Sue of Distant Stitches and Alex of My Unicorn. The right way around. Yeah, they were doing this cat, and it was basically knit a sock. It was the Spooky Feet Mail, and just created a sock, and it just had to have any type of Halloween or spooky connection, as long as you could say it was Halloween related to you. That's it. So for example, this is how loose it was. I could have said I'm doing a pink pair of socks because my Halloween costume in work this year was a pink blouse. It could have been like that. That's how I mean how loose. I decided don't go loose, let's go a bit extreme, and I made myself a witchy pair of socks. So what I did was I did the toe as I normally do a toe, and I do have a video on my channel about how I have what my favourite sock vanilla recipe is, because obviously everyone has them differently. So I did toe up, I did the toe, then once I was going to go around knitting, I actually started knitting it back and forth, so turning at the end of the row, purling all the way around, and I did obviously four rows of black, 4 rows of white, and then when I was going round, half of the row would be done in the red, half would be done in the black and white. I'd connect it round so this row here, that's actually the row in the middle as I was going back and forth, and then I did have a big gap here which I have just sewed up, and then once I got up to the top it was just, you know, straightforward stripy knitting until I got the desired length and finished. I thought, right, let's do them one at a time, just so I've got a bit of a better idea on how I'm doing these, you know, and you know, just it's easy for me to be able to, like, you know, if I make a mistake, I've not got to frog back 2 pairs of socks, I've got to just frog 1. So this was the second sock. That's where my drawing, where I was changing the colour each round. It's not as bad, it's really noticeable on there, but it's not as noticeable in person. I'll put the link down to how I the way I used the colour changes, you know, to make it less of a jog, and it looks a lot better to me than what it would normally do. So yeah, and that's the other side there. Right, now this was the problem with knitting them both separately. I don't know if you can tell, oops, but it's not really actually that noticeable on camera, and I'm hopefully when blocking it, but this sock here is one less of the ribbon than the other one, and I know what you're thinking, you could have just counted. Yeah, it was dark it was dark the night I was finishing them, and so I didn't actually I couldn't count them as well. I should have probably left them to the morning, but I was on a roll with them, so I just got them finished, and yeah. But it was only when I fogged them off and I had them next to each other and I was like, hang on, they look different. And in the morning I counted, and yeah, and one less row. But you know, it's not that noticeable, and I think, you know, they are going to be around my ankles, so they'll normally be hidden by like a pant cuff or some, pants cuff on the, you know, cuff on the trousers. So it shouldn't be too bad, should be too noticeable. But yeah, that's my only finished object. The first whip I'll show you, I've got 3 whips that I have been working on over the past 2 weeks, pretty continuously. This one has actually been, I've been working on this for ages now. But I'm just taking my time with it. I only normally work on it once, maybe twice a week. So this is when I'm watching the football. These are my football socks. So here we are. Let's put them like this. So I've just, to help it, I need to disconnect that. So I've literally just finished the heel now. So I'm just on round and round knitting for the leg. I nearly pulled stitches off there. So that's what I'm doing. That is how the yarn's working out. And the reason I decided to have these as my football socks, so to call them, is because the yarn I'm using, this one here, is Superba Footballs 4-ply. Sorry, this is the Rico Superba Footballs 4-ply. And yeah, so they're all supposed to be like footballer colourways, so they're supposed to like look a bit like, you know, the colours of what like kits are. They're all inspired, you know, sort of thing. My team play in blue and white, so I did this. This is the one I chose. I really did like the blue, white and red one, but our rivals play in red, so I was like, yeah, can't do that. So I normally work on these, you know, just while the football's on, because I'll end up getting sidetracked watching the football, and then there'll be a really tense moment and I'll be knitting like my needles on fire because I'm that quick. But yeah, and then the rest of the time I'll end up preoccupied, not even knitting. So that's why they are just taking time, and you know what, I really enjoy it. It's just really relaxed, chilled. I don't have to really concentrate, so they're just vanilla socks. And I actually started these on the day of the Women's World Cup final when I was watching England versus Spain, I want to say we were playing. Yeah, it was Spain. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been working on there. I forgot to mention with these. These are Drops Fable in the colourway red, off-white and black. And this one here, I knew it was a drop yarn, so the heel, toes and cuffs, they're Drops Alpaca in the colourway Fog Mix, and I think they go really well. They are just slightly different than the light blue that features in, but I do like them. So yeah, they are my football socks. They're what I work on when I need something that I can pick up, put down, and that, because the thing is when like I'm watching something like a sports event where it's like quite tense and stuff like that, I tend to stim, and it's not like really bad. It's you know, it's not like when like I used to get excited as a kid, I'd go like that. It's more just like I'll tap on my knee, you know, I'll shake my foot a bit, stuff like that. I just, it's all that built-up energy you need to get out somehow. I'm moving the way forward with it. So yeah, it's just sort of to help. It's productive stimming, as I say, and it means I'm not disturbing whoever's sat around me with, you know, distracting them with me shaking something next to them. So that's what I do, and it works really well for me. On that, yep. So my next whip is the mermaid tail. Now let's see, where was the last time you saw me? Right. Last time you saw me, I was where that stitch marker there is there, that flower one. There is another one, but that's just with me counting rows. So that stitch marker there, I've done that much. Let's see, 1 minute. There we go. So yeah, I've done around that much since you last saw me. I'm on row 9 of this currently, and I've got to get to 15 to get the end of this week done, but it's Friday. There's plenty of the day ahead, so yeah, should be quite easy to get done. I'm going to a knitting and stitching show this week, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take it with me, because I'll be sat in the car, and I can chat and work on it at the same time, and I can have the balls at my feet. It's no problem, you know, in a bag. So yeah, I'm not too fussed, but that's where I'm going with that. And you guys, you're going to be so proud. I think there's about 15 ends. No, there's not 15. There's 10 ends that I need to weave in. Oh sorry, 11, because there's one at this end. All the others are woven in. Yeah, so this is what I've been working on. It's a pattern by Yarn Utopia. It's a free pattern or a paid for PDF version. I've just been using the website because, to be honest, once you get the first few rows done, you're working it until it decreases. And yeah, I've sort of, because I went a bit off course with the decreases as well, I sort of don't need to look back at the pattern. The only thing I'll need to look back at the pattern for is when I'm doing the tail. But again, it's something where you read the pattern and it's sort of dead easy to remember how to do the rest of the tail. You don't really need to then look at it until you're doing like borders and stuff like that. So it is, yeah, it's one of those patterns where you don't have to be constantly checking your phone, and that's one of the things I love about it. But I'm not gonna lie, getting this far on the second blanket, I'm a bit like, yeah. I'm over halfway though. Halfway was 9 rows ago. So I'm over halfway in actually knitting that, and then the tail did not take me too long last time when doing it. The tail literally took me about an hour, maybe 2 max. Yeah, so I'm getting there, I'm on track with it, which is the main thing, and yeah, I can't wait to get it done, get it washed, blocked, wrapped up for Christmas, ready to give 2 little girls. So if you're new here, I'm making these memory tails for my nieces. So they found their mum's memory tale from, it's a good few years ago. I actually think I got it for Christmas one year. This was while I wasn't like, you know, that big into knitting. I used to knit, but nothing like, you know, major, and wasn't really like, you know, making things all the time. It was just the odd thing. I bought her it as a gift, like, you know, when they were in style a couple of years ago, and my nieces found my sisters as she was tidying up, and they were like, can we have it? And she's like, it's bigger than yours. It's, you know, I'll try and see, you know, what we can do about getting one for yours better to your size, and then you know, one each, so that they're not always having to try and squidge in this one together. Because you know what it's like with kids, especially when they're close in age, is when one sees one playing with it, the other one wants to play with it as well, and something like maybe it's a bit hard for them to play together. Anyway, I've agreed, make them it for Christmas. My nieces are 2 of the most crochet worthy people and knit worthy people you can ever meet. They absolutely adore everything I make. So I love making them things, because just seeing that like wow on their face. Last year I made them geckos for Christmas because they were obsessed with geckos. So yeah, that's that. I've also got next year's Christmas present planned. Yeah, may give them it before Christmas, may give them it in I'm hopefully going to try and get it finished by like the springtime, and maybe give it them as a gift, because it's to do with where I work, like something that you see there, and they're going to come on one of my tours hopefully this year. Well, you know, in the next 12 months, but hopefully it'll be in the spring next, so it's a bit warmer, not as wet and rainy. But yeah, I'm rambling. Basically, love the girls, they love everything I make, so I'll make them anything they want. That got pushed to the limit last week because my 4-year-old niece started bullying me. Basically she was like looking around at pictures and in my mum's room, and she's like, that's so and so and so and so. I'm like, yeah, that's so and so and so and so. And most of these like wedding pictures she's looking up at, and then she points, so she, you know, going through the photos of all these, you know, people together, and then she points to a picture of me, and then she goes, and that's Babby all alone. Way to rub it in, kids. I was gobsmacked. And then I was gobsmacked, and I went, you know what, online dating's quite hard, right, kid? And she burst out laughing. You know, she thought she was the funniest thing in the world. She is really funny, like, but yeah, I got terrified by a 4-year-old. Oh my god. Anyway, so yeah, there's my nieces. The next thing I've been crocheting and working on is another gift. These are for 3 other kids. Right, so what I'll do here, so I have to get them all out. So I've got bits and pieces everywhere. I've got like loads of these like Ziploc bags with parts in, just so I can keep them track, because I'm going in an assembly line. So what it is I made a crochet Frankenstein holding a treat bowl for my brother-in-law who really loves Halloween. My auntie saw it and was there when I gifted it, so she said, you know, oh, would you mind if, you know, you could make me 3 for my grandsons. I said, right, all the same or different? She's like, hopefully different. I was like, right, okay. The pattern only comes with Frankenstein. So I was like, I'm gonna have to improvise it. Didn't tell my auntie that. And you know, she offered to pay for me and stuff like that, and I was like, no, you know, I'm using stuff out my stash, I'm using patterns that I've got, so no, it's alright, yeah. So the pattern, the Frankenstein was a Made by Mary pattern, and what I've done is I had the witch, I had the mummy, and I had witch, mummy, and the vampire. That was it. And then I had the Frankenstein tree ball. Now these ones just stand up and they're a bit smaller and that. So the mummy, I thought I wanted to stick away from that because it is like, you know, cream and white. It's all cream and white, and these are young children. One of them, I want to say the oldest is about 8 years old, but you know, if it's going in a house with 3 kids, you're not going to say, oh, only the oldest is going to touch this. So I was like, right, okay, make it age appropriate for the youngest one. Then it doesn't matter who gets hold of what. So I thought, yeah, the mummy, and then also it involved sewing on a lot of pieces, and the last thing I wanted was one of these strips to come loose and it to be a hazard or anything like that. So I was like, right, okay, mummy's gone out the window. So I did the Frankenstein, and then I'm turning the witch into a wizard, mostly because I just don't want to do the hair on the witch and the skirt in black. Yeah, so doing that, and then doing a Frankenstein. So I'm using the vampire pattern, and then I'm incorporating elements from like the witch pattern, and then elements from even like the Frankenstein pattern that I did, although it's a different size, you know, just tweaking it a bit. So that's what we're doing. Now I'm doing a little production line, so I've actually got the arms for all of them done. There's 2 pairs of arms here, but you'll see where the other one's gone. So I did the arms first, because that's what you have to do. It's a pay for pattern, so I will link it down in the description, but the Made by Mary patterns are phenomenal. There's pictures in, it's very detailed, and it taught me a lot of tips. Like, it taught me about like crocheting arms in and stuff like that, how to do it. Then next we have the legs that I did. So that's the legs for the wizard, that's the legs for Frankenstein. Then we have the vampire, the headless vampire at the moment. So he's got his legs all done. I've crocheted the arms and that, and yeah, that's where I'm up to with that. Now there is something that I do that's not included in the pattern. So to try and secure heads in, if I know a head's going to be a bit wobbly, which on these patterns they are, and the designer does tell you ways to accommodate this, but I do a different way. So that's why I'm going to tell you about my way, but not mention anything about the designers, just because pay for pattern, don't want to infringe on copyright. But what I actually do is I put a crochet chain and I put it across, slip stitch into the stitches on the other side, go back, and then I'll do the same in the head. And what I do is I have this type of wire here, and I'll wrap it around I can't remember, it's like some type of armature wire that I bought ages ago. Yeah, and I just find sticking that in, it still gives it a bit of movability. It also means that it's not as secure as like other methods. Like someone suggested like an empty, like, you know, pen, you know, when the pen runs out, take the nib out and the ink, use that plastic bit. That's a great idea. But what's called, with stuff like that and dowels, I just feel like if you're giving it to a young kid, I don't want it to accidentally poke. Whereas these, what I normally do is put felt around the tip, hot glue it in, you know, fold it all in, so that way it's really not going to hit anything, the kids, because of all the insulation and stuff like that. And I just find it gives it still that bit of flexibility. It doesn't feel like there's something in there, but at the same time, let them move it, secures it a bit. So yeah, that's where I'm at to with that. It's all been it's on assembly line. I do bits and pieces, so I should say that's what's there. Once I've done now I've done this top body, I'll do the top body on one of these, and yeah, getting them done slowly but surely. I knew I wasn't going to be able to get them done for this Halloween because I just had so much going on at the time, so I was like, right, okay. Did mention it to my auntie and I said, listen, I said I could get them done for Halloween, but it means cutting out a lot of bits and it wouldn't be my best work, and I don't want to do that to the kids. I want to give them, you know, something that they really can enjoy. So my auntie totally understood it, and she's, you know, happy for them to have it next year. And it means they'll get them done in plenty of time, so if they go to any early events like in school and stuff like that with nursery, then they've got it for that. So yeah, but that is what I've been up to over the past couple of weeks. Yeah, it's been a bit of a weird couple of weeks, as I said, with just all the house stuff going on. My older sister's coming over tomorrow. She's just going to give me a hand with all the cleaning. Yeah, because it's just so much. And my dad's like limited to what he can do because of his health issues and stuff like that. But yeah, she's coming over tomorrow, and hopefully we'll start getting back to normal soonish. Fingers crossed. Anyway, that's what we can hope, isn't it? So yeah, that's what I'm up to. Little buddy's on the couch opposite me. He's curled up in a ball and he's fast asleep. I'm not surprised he's fast asleep and tired. The little bugger had me up 3 times last night to go to the bathroom. Normally he's fine. Normally, like, you let him out. You know, obviously we let him out regularly throughout the day. Take him on his walk. Let him out, you know, before we go to bed overnight. He's normally sound. Some reason last night he was like, nope, I'm gonna be going out 3 times. So I'm not surprised he's tired. I'm tired. But yeah, anyway, let me know what you've been getting up to over the past few weeks with crafting. Are you trying to clear your needles coming up to Christmas? I know I am. I'm not casting anything on until my advent knitting. If I do finish things before Christmas, it'll be you know, picking up something that's hibernating and working on that. To be honest, I've got that many hibernating stuff I need to keep working on it. I sorted through my whips. I've created like a little board on Notion all about how to do all the whips. And every time I'm getting the urge to try to like cast on something new, I look at it and I'm like, yeah, maybe just focus on what we've got. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna get going. I hope you all have a wonderful week, staying safe and taking care, and I'll speak to you all on Monday. Take care. Bye.